I just wanted to, I've talked about my birds, I guess, before, and I've shown them on my, not, it was before Veda. I've shown them on my vlog before, but not Veda. My parrots are really important to me, and two of them especially have my heart. My little Myers parrot, Elliot, and my dear, sweet Maxwell, who is a red-bellied parrot. Are both poicephalus parrots, my poi boys I call them. Tonight something happened with Maxwell, and I've spent much of the evening crying. I'm hoping that by tomorrow maybe things will start turn around, but if not, I will have to maybe go back quite a ways and try to rebuild his trust. About 3 nights ago, when I went in to spend time with the birds, and I let Max and Elliot out, as I always do, and Chloe, my white-cap Ionis. The three of them usually come out together, and I play with them and stay in, obviously out in the sunroom with them and spend my evening, a good part of my evening with them. Well, about 3 nights ago when I went to get him out, there was a huge pile in his cage of 20, in and around his cage, 24 or 23, I can't remember now, large gray feathers from him. And I couldn't imagine, because earlier that day when I was out there checking on him and talking to him, giving him treats and whatnot, he was fine, and I could not imagine what could possibly have happened to his feathers. That evening when I got him out, I noticed they were all out of his right wing. His right wing looked okay to me, and it felt okay, and everything was okay, except for all the feathers had fallen out. He only had very, very few left, short ones. Obviously that rendered him unable to fly, and Max flies everywhere. Max has never been deliberately deflated that I'm aware of. I got him when he was 2, and I don't think he was ever deflated before that. He's always been a natural bird who's been able to act like a natural bird, has always flown, and he's an excellent flyer. He's excellent, steering and landing and taking off and going through small spaces, and he's just very acrobatic flyer. But suddenly he obviously couldn't fly without his feathers, and I have no idea why there were so many feathers in his cage from his right wing, or what had happened during that day. I mean, I sit right outside of their room as I work, and I didn't hear anything happen. I have no idea what happened to him. So I arranged a wooden ladder, and some perches and stuff so he could walk around across the tops of the cages and still get around, and still, in the last couple nights he's been fine. He hasn't tried to fly. I guess I assumed he fell once the first night when I took him out. He tried to fly off my shoulder onto a cage, and he fell. I picked him up, I set him on the cage, and that was it. It broke my heart to see him fall, because he is, like I say, the years I've had him, which is probably 8 or 9 years, I don't know, he's always been a fantastic flyer. So the best one, in fact, in the flock, except maybe the cocktail. But it really broke my heart. But the last couple nights he's been, feathers do grow back, and the last couple nights he's been walking around on top of the cages and, interacting with Chloe and with Elliot and acting normal and being cuddly and being silly and playing with me and giving me kisses and all the stuff that he always does. And he hasn't even attempted to take off and fly, so my assumption was that he knew he couldn't, and so he didn't try after that one fall. Tonight I went in and I picked him up and gave him some kisses and scratches and talked to him for a few minutes, and then he went to fly over to a cage top across the room, and he fell. Well, my dog Pharaoh goes in the bird room with me all the time. In fact, he goes everywhere pretty much with me within the house. He doesn't go out, but we don't take him in the car or whatever. But anyway, he was in there, as he always is, and when Maxwell fell, he fell on Pharaoh, on top of Pharaoh. Well, Pharaoh, he hears me saying his name, he's tipping his head. Pharaoh backed away from under the bird and, just put his head down and backed away so that, he would never hurt one of these birds. And Maxwell went into a phobic type reaction and he started trying to fly and kept falling. He couldn't even get any lift, not even enough. So when he'd try to fly, he couldn't even get off the floor and he'd just fall forward and then he'd fall sideways because all his feathers on his right wing were, are the ones that are gone. I don't know what happened to them. Anyway. And he got under cages and he got back in corners and he kept slamming himself against everything and making this horrible, pitiful peeping baby sound. Not a squawking like a bird who is panicked or anything, but a little baby peeping sound as he was throwing himself around the floor. And Pharaoh backed, just instinctively backed against the wall and stayed out of his way. I didn't move much because as much as he was flopping around on the floor, I was afraid to step on him. He would not let me touch him. He was totally panicked and when I approached him, he just freaked out as if I was a monster. And so I called my husband to bring a towel, and my husband came in to the bird room with a towel and picked him up, caught him, and put him back in his cage. He wouldn't step up on a perch either, which he does without fail. So my husband picked him up with a towel and put him back in his cage. And when I approached the cage, he talked to me, backed up against the back wall, just backed away from me. I went ahead and went on and with the other birds, fed them, watered them, did all my usual evening, cleaned them up and all that stuff, cleaned the cage. I don't clean all the cages every day, but I clean some every day, every other day they get. Anyway, I backed up against the wall, and when I fed him, he backed further. When I put his food and water dish in, he backed further into the corner of the cage and shook. This is my baby. And he, so I thought I'd just let him settle down a little bit and calm down and, whatever. So I left him alone for like an hour. I went back in there and he was in his usual nighttime spot. Every night when I go to bed, he says, "Night, night," in his little Maxwell voice. And I say, "Night, night, Max, I love you." Tonight, he was in his usual spot at the front of the cage where he sits on his perch with his tail up against the side and kind of his head down, and that's where he sleeps. As soon as I walked in the door, I walked to the front of the cage. I said, "Hi, Max." And he scooted as fast as he could along that perch all the way to the back of the cage to get away from me. Sorry, I started crying then. I've been doing a lot of crying tonight. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what happened to his feathers. I don't know what caused all this. I know that he is afraid of me, and I know that he wanted to bite me when this all first started, when he was on the floor. And he was trying to protect himself from me. And I don't know what brought all this on. So all I know is that in all the years I've had him, he's always trusted me, and so I'll see how he is in the morning. I'm going to leave him alone tonight. I haven't seen him eat or drink. I will check his food in the morning to make sure he did, because I don't want to bother him anymore tonight. And tomorrow I'll probably put my chair next to his cage, not too close. I don't want to make him feel uncomfortable, but just be with him tomorrow while I work. I'll take my computer and everything out there to the sunroom and work, just so I can be with him and I can keep an eye on him and I can let him see me interacting with the other birds and modeling that, whatever. I hope I don't have to start. I never even had to start with square one with him, because when I got him, he had been so beautifully socialized and so beautifully trained and so loved by his former owner that he just came to me as a wonderful bird, and I never really had to, there was an adjustment period, but God forbid if I have to start from square one with him. We'll start with some, some clicker training, and I'm not going to push him. Obviously I won't push him. I will, we'll take it at his pace, and I'll try and encourage him to want to reestablish. I just hope that, Maxwell is my special, very sweet little heart bird. And I just hope that he will, I just hope he'll be okay. Because if he's not, I don't know what I'll do. Anyway, I just wanted to share that because I have shared about my birds before, and I've introduced you to most of them and in previous vlogs. And it's not always, everything isn't always wonderful, and everything isn't always great. I guess there are ups and downs in every relationship, avian or human. And I just tonight's going to be a hard night when I go to bed, and he doesn't say night night to me. So that's my evening. So thanks for listening. Okay, good night.